Hi Earthy people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods, and today I'm going to be making myself a spell candle, and I thought, you guys might want to come along for the ride so that I could show you how to do it as well. Now for me, I'm making a spell candle because of the season. I tend to do these candles, specifically this candle, during when we enter sort of like that dark phase where there's not as much light. The things tend to be a little bit gloomy from time to time, and it doesn't help to get a little bit of light, abundance, a prosperity, what have you. So that's what this spell is today. It's going to be put onto a candle so that we can go ahead and manifest. So if this sounds interesting to you, keep on watching, and without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I designed this candle in particular for prosperity and money and just all around good luck. And if that's something that interests you and you want to do the exact same thing I'm doing, then just follow it along exactly. But of course, if you've seen all my previous videos, you know how I am. Make the magic your own, okay? So maybe it's something with health, protection, blessings, what have you, whatever you're trying to manifest during this season, this dark season once again. Now, it is very debatable. For me, I don't think it is a dark season. I think it's more of like a resting season, or, you know, it's kind of where everything is starting to become sleepy. Fall is, for me, it's where all the colors are blooming. It's very vibrant, in my opinion, to prepare for the winter months. But without going into that whole tangent, you came here to see how to make a spell candle, so let's do it. You're gonna need a few things though, okay? So, you're gonna need a safe-proof dish for heat to place your candle. So if you have a candle holder, all the better. I don't have a specific candle holder for the candle that I'm using today, and I'll show you that. I'm going to be using a taper candle. And you can use whatever candle. Some people will prefer to use a chime candle, a votive candle, a pillar candle, or just even a jar candle can even work as well. Use what's handy to you, okay? For me in particular, every year, I always use a taper candle. For me, it's just easy. I've always been doing it this way, so I'm not gonna change it now, okay? You're gonna need some cinnamon. You're going to need a bay leaf. If you don't have a bay leaf handy, you can just use a brown piece of paper, or like just a paper in general, just a strip of paper. Okay. Today I'm going to be cleansing with sound, and I'm also going to be cleansing with Florida water. You're going to need a permanent marker, something to light the candle, some scissors. You gotta be able to cut the string, so you're gonna need some string, some yarn, some thread, something to tie things together. I'm just showing you this. Me in particular, I'm using some ginger, I guess this is leaves, ginger from my garden that I grow inside of my room. And I'm using ginger only because ginger is connected to Mars and fire and movement, success, money, power, love. It's connected to all of those things, so that's why I'm using it. Now, don't be watching this video and then going into someone's yard and taking their ginger and cutting it. That's not what I'm saying. I have a great connection to the plants that I actually grow and raise. I form that connection. It's just very personal to me. So that's why I'm gonna be tying with dry ginger leaves versus, you know, using my actual twine or string. It works the same. It's just, this is how I do my spell. This is very personal to me. Make the magic your own, make it personal to you. Now, if that resonates for you, maybe you have a ginger plant, or maybe you do want to use ginger, then by all means do use it. But I'm not saying go into someone else's yard or take their ginger, because by all means, you never know. It could be a witch's garden for that matter. But don't do that. Just kind of use what's handy, what is easier for you, what resonates for you, okay? Now, optional is going to be basil. Basil is connected to prosperity, abundance, money, and me. This resonates for me because I'm doing the spell on me. It's angelica root. Angelica root, of course, just like the name kind of sounds, angels. I resonate with working with angelic energies, entities, that heavenly force, that divine force. It is just part of my practice, part of my craft. So that's why I'm using angelica root. If none of that even resonates or even connects to you, you're going to omit that, okay? So the things that you'll just need is cinnamon, bay leaves, a taper candle, and something to tie. That's it, okay? So if you just have these 4 things, then that's perfectly fine, okay? Those are just optional things. I'm doing this spell for myself, so that's why I'm using these things. I'm making the magic my own, okay? Now, the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer so you can kind of see. So, hand puppet time. You guys know how it works. So I'll bring you right back. Okay, now that you guys can see a lot closer, here's my taper candle. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some Florida water and I am going to cleanse my candle, okay? Now, I know that this candle has only been in my hands and in my house, but I always cleanse my candles because I want the energies to be clear. I want it to only contain the energies and intentions that I put into it. Now, as you can tell, I'm cleaning it going upwards. You can also go downwards. A lot of witches and spiritualists will say to cleanse it going downwards, to take away. For me, because I'm going to be putting intentions in, it resonates to actually cleanse upwards. Good intentions. I want to put my intentions into it. Okay, so there we are, it's nice and cleansed. Then all I'm going to do is use my bell to clean the area, some sound cleaning. Now, when it comes to sound cleaning, some witches will use a certain number of rings. Some spiritualists will just use 3 or 7 or 8 or whatever resonates. For me, I ring until I feel like the area is cleansed. I'll just keep ringing it until then. I usually don't have to ring the bell too much, but once again, make the magic your own. Ring it as many times as you need to or a specific amount. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is with a sharp, that's where my scissors is coming in, with my sharp part, I'm going to write my first and last name onto the candle. Now, if you're doing this for somebody, obviously you're going to write their first and last name onto the candle. And as you can tell, I'm writing going upwards, starting from the bottom. And I'm writing upwards towards the wick because I am bringing towards me. I'm going to be sending power out of this. I'm going to be connecting things. So that's why I'm writing upwards. I'm starting from the bottom of the taper, writing this way. Okay? Now, if I'm taking away or banishing, I would have written it going downwards, but I'm not banishing for this specific manifestation. If you are, if it's something that you want to take away or get rid of, maybe it's a bad habit, you would write your first name, last name going downwards, okay? But I'm manifesting, I want prosperity, abundance, all that, so I am writing my first name, last name going upwards towards the wick, okay? Next thing you're going to do is you're just going to take your bay leaf and you're going to write down what you want to manifest. Okay, now that you've gotten your manifestation, what you want manifested onto your bay leaf, all you're going to do is take your taper candle, put it next to it, and that's where your twine or string is going to come in. You're going to tie it around the candle, okay? So I'm going to just cut some of this ginger leaf that's all dried. I just like working with it dried. You don't have to, if you're using ginger leaf as well, you don't have to work with it dried. I just find it easier to tie when it's dry. But some witches and so forth will work with it just green and, you know, where it's not so dry. All I'm doing is tying it. Now where you're doing the tying part, when you're tying your actual bay leaf to your candle, you want to envision what you want happening, okay? So right now as I'm tying, I'm envisioning what I want to happen, okay? And as I'm tying going towards me because I want this manifestation to happen towards me. And at the end of your tying, you should have something that looks like this. I want to also premise that some witches will also anoint the candle with oils and anything that resonates for what they're trying to manifest. I just want to show you without using those things or dressing the candle like that, you can still create a spell candle, okay? So because I don't have a taper holder, I lit the candle, and so I'm just dripping some wax onto this safe-proof dish here. And then I'm just going to fix my candle onto it so that it holds it up, okay? Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some cinnamon now. Cinnamon is known for speed and prosperity and money. And I'm just going to make a circle around my candle, okay? As I'm doing this, I'm envisioning my manifestation happening, how I feel, what does it look like. I love the smell of cinnamon, by the way. I don't know if some of you, especially for the fall season, I always love it. But yes, you just want to do a nice little circle around the candle. Now, it's super important that when you're doing your little circle, that it is a closed circle. You don't want to just put cinnamon here or there and then leave a hole. Let it connect, because you want that energy to be never ending, right? A circle is never ending. There is no ending or beginning. It just keeps going. So that's what we're doing with this prosperities. Okay, now if you are doing the optional thing like I am doing, I'm going to be adding some basil. And once again, basil is connected to abundance and prosperity. It is also connected to money. And I always like to finish off my year really good, so you can't go wrong, right? And because I work with angelic energies, I work with the divine, I'm adding angelica root also, which is going to be in a circle around the actual candle. And there you have it. You just created a spell candle. Now, I specifically burn this over time. Some witches will just let this burn down all one time. I burn this over time because I like to feed my spell, basically. How I like to look at it is when I light it, I do visualizations. I actually feed this with more intention, make sure that the direction is right. It just helps also with my thought. I am an overthinker, so this also helps control my thoughts about my spell until it's complete. So I do burn this over time. It is not necessary. Once again, that is optional. You can just burn this down in one sitting. Because this is a spell candle, you do not want to take your eyes off of it, especially with that bay leaf, and especially if you're using ginger leaf. That is a very strong, flammable material. You want to be around when this is burning. You don't want to go to sleep. You want to go do your groceries. If so, burn this over time. Go ahead and put out the candle and then relight it over time. I relight it until it's gone, till it's already burned all the way down. Now, if your manifestation happens before this burns all the way down, you're just going to go ahead and relight it, let it burn all the way down, and be grateful for what you've got. Be thankful for what you got, that your manifestation has taken place, okay? If it hasn't manifested before it's burned down, then that's perfectly fine. It just might take some more time. There may be obstacles, blah, blah, blah. It works within the laws of our plane of existence, okay? So whatever you're asking for to manifest, it may take some time. So let the magic do its work. I, once again, like to burn this over time. while watching it, okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't just go willy-nilly and, oh, Gerard, you know, it's very flammable. You want to go ahead and, especially if you've rubbed oil and everything on there, let's do the math here. Flammable, okay? Well, earthy people, I hope you liked today's video as I showed you how to make a spell candle, right? Not so hard, pretty easy. There's not like a whole bunch of words to do. Concentration, intention though is super important for that spell, so just make sure to keep that in mind when you do it. You want to concentrate, don't do it after a long day's of work or you're exhausted or you're overthinking at that moment. Calm your mind, concentrate, then do the spell, okay? And as always, stay earthy, stay magical. And I'll see you next time. So it's the candle's light. So beautiful. How it manifests. A simple spell candle creating so much magic. With intention. With herbs. With something as magical as this.